County Antrim is one of 6 counties that form Northern Ireland, situated in the northeast of the island of Ireland. Adjoined to the northeast shore of Lough Neagh, the county covers an area of 3,046 square kilometres and has a population of about 618,000. It is one of the 32 traditional counties of Ireland and is within the historic province of Ulster. The Glens of Antrim offer isolated rugged landscapes. The Giant's Causeway is a unique landscape and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Bushmills produces whisky, and Portrush is a popular seaside resort and nightlife area. The majority of Belfast, the capital city of Northern Ireland, is in County Antrim, with the remainder being in County Down. Geography. A large portion of Antrim is hilly, especially in the east, where the highest elevations are attained. The range runs north and south, and, following this direction, the highest points are Knocklade 514 am, Slievenor 508 am, Trostan 550 am, Slemish 437 am, Agnews Hill 474 am and Divis 478 am. The inland slope is gradual, but on the northern shore the range terminates in abrupt and almost perpendicular declivities, and here, consequently, some of the finest coast scenery in the world is found, widely differing, with its unbroken lines of cliffs, from the indented coastline of the west. The most remarkable cliffs are those formed of perpendicular basaltic columns, extending for many miles, and most strikingly displayed in Fairhead and the celebrated Giant's Causeway. From the eastern coast the hills rise instantly but less abruptly, and the indentations are wider and deeper. On both coasts there are several resort towns, including Portrush, Port Ballintrae and Ballycastle. On the east Cushendun, Cushendall and Waterfoot on Red Bay, Canlough and Glenam, Larne on the Sea of Moyle, and Whitehead on Belfast Lough. All are somewhat exposed to the easterly winds prevalent in spring. The only island of size is the L-shaped Rathlin Island, off Ballycastle, 11 km in total length by 2 km maximum breadth, 7 km from the coast, and of similar basaltic and limestone formation to that of the mainland. It is partially arable, and supports a small population. Island Magee is a peninsula separating Larne Lough from the North Channel. The valleys of the Bann and Lagan, with the intervening shores of Lough Neagh, form the fertile lowlands. These 2 rivers, both rising in County Down, are the only ones of importance. The latter flows to Belfast Lough, the former drains Lough Neagh, which is fed by a number of smaller streams. The fisheries of the Bann and of Lough Neagh are of value both commercially and to sportsmen, the small town of Toome, at the outflow of the river, being the centre. Immediately below this point lies Lough Beg, the small lake, about 4.5 am lower than Lough Neagh. Transport. County Antrim has a number of air, rail and sea links. Air. Northern Ireland's main airport, Belfast International Airport, at Aldergrove is in County Antrim. Belfast International shares its runways with the Royal Air Force Base RAF Aldergrove, which otherwise has its own facilities. It is the 5th largest regional air cargo centre in the UK. There are regular services to Great Britain, Europe and North America. The region is also served by George Best Belfast City Airport, a mile east of Belfast city centre on the County Down side of the city, which was renamed in 2006 in honour of footballer George Best. Rail. The main Transilink Northern Ireland Railways routes are the major line between Belfast, Antrim, Ballymena, Coleraine and Londonderry, Belfast to Carrickfigures and Larne, the port for Stranraer in Scotland and Coleraine to Portrush. C. 2 of Northern Ireland's main ports are in County Antrim, Larne and Belfast. Ferries sail from Larne Harbour to destinations including Cairnryan and Troon in Scotland, and Fleetwood in England. The Port of Belfast is Northern Ireland's principal maritime gateway, serving the Northern Ireland economy and increasingly that of the Republic of Ireland. It is a major centre of industry and commerce and has become established as the focus of logistics activity for Northern Ireland. Around 2/3 of Northern Ireland's seaborne trade, and a quarter of that for Ireland as a whole, is handled at the port, which receives over 6,000 vessels each year. Population. The population of County Antrim was 615,384 according to recent census information, making it the most populous county in Northern Ireland. Irish language statistics for 2009 Euro 2010 show 1,832 students attending the 12 Gael Scoliana and 1 Gael Ultra. Religion. The Presbyterian Church in Ireland is the largest religious denomination, followed by the Catholic Church and the Anglican Church of Ireland. County Antrim is one of 2 counties in Ireland in which the majority of people are Protestant, according to the 2001 census, the other being Down. The strong Presbyterian presence in the county is due largely to the county's historical links with lowland Scotland, which supplied many immigrants to Ireland. Administration. The traditional county town is Antrim. More recently, Ballymena was the seat of county government. The counties of Northern Ireland ceased to be administrative entities in 1973, with the reorganisation of local government. In Northern Ireland the county structure is no longer used in local government. Northern Ireland is split into districts. The majority of County Antrim residents are administered by the following 9 councils: Antrim Borough Council, Ballymena Borough Council, Ballymoney Borough Council, Belfast City Council, Carrickfergus Borough Council, Larne Borough Council, Lisburn City Council, Moyle District Council, Newtownabbey Borough Council. Small portions of the county are administered by councils that are based in neighbouring counties, notably the village of Aghaglin in the Craigavon Borough and the town of Portrush in the Coleraine Borough. The county contains all of 5 parliamentary constituencies: Belfast North, Belfast West, East Antrim, North Antrim, South Antrim. Parts of the following constituencies are also in County Antrim: Belfast South, East Londonderry, Lagan Valley, Upper Bann. Settlements. Cities, population of 75,000 or more with a cathedral, Belfast. Large towns, population of 18,000 or more and under 75,000 at 2001 census, Antrim, Ballymena, Carrickfergus, Larne, Lisburn, Newtownabbey. Medium towns, population of 10,000 or more and under 18,000 at 2001 census, None. Small towns, population of 4,500 or more and under 10,000 at 2001 census, Ballycastle, Ballyclare, Ballymoney, Green Island, Jordantown, Portrush, Randalltown. Intermediate settlements, population of 2,250 or more and under 4,500 at 2001 census, Aophhill, Bruffshane, Crumlin, Cullybackey, Whitehead. Villages, population of 1,000 or more and under 2,250 at 2001 census, Bushmills, Carnlough, Clonmills, Kiggree and Kilbride, Cushendall, Dew, Dunloy, Glenavy, Kells, Portgalnone, Templepatrick. Small villages or hamlets, population of less than 1,000 at 2001 census, Aghaglin, Agailey, Aldergrove, Armoy, Ballintoy, Ballycree, Ballyaston, Ballygally, Ballina, Boney Before, Canalbainan, Cargan, Cushendun, Davok, Glenam, Glyn, Lough, Mosside, Newtown Cromlin, Parkgate, Port Ballintroy, Rasharkin, Stranockham, Toome. Subdivisions, baronies. Parishes. Townlands. History. At what date the county of Antrim was formed is not known, but it appears that a certain district bore this name before the reign of Edward II, and when the shiring of Ulster was undertaken by Sir John Perrott in the 16th century, Antrim and Down were already recognised divisions, in contradistinction to the remainder of the province. The earliest known inhabitants were Mesolithic hunter-gatherers of pre-Celtic origin, but the names of the townlands or subdivisions, supposed to have been made in the 13th century, are all of Gaelic derivation. In ancient times, Antrim was inhabited by a Celtic people called the Darinai. In the early Middle Ages, southern County Antrim was part of the Kingdom of Ulidia, ruled by the Dar El Fiatich clans Keenan and Macdonlevy MacDonlevy. The north was part of Dar El Riada, which stretched into what is now western Scotland over the Irish Sea. Dar El Riada was ruled by the Airlinch clan, who were vassals of the Ulidians. Besides the Ulidians and Dar El Riada, there were the Dar El Enaraid of Lower County Antrim, and the Cruithin, who were pre-Gaelic Celts and probably related to the Picts of Britain. Between the 8th and 11th centuries Antrim was exposed to the inroads of the Vikings. In the late 12th century Antrim became part of the earldom of Ulster, conquered by Anglo-Norman invaders. A revival of Gaelic power followed the campaign of Edward Bruce in 1315, leaving Carrickfergus as the only significant English stronghold. In the late Middle Ages, Antrim was divided into three parts: Northern Clandeboy, the Glens and the Root. The Cambro-Norman MacCullens were powerful in the Root. A branch of the O'Neills of Tyrone migrated to Clandeboy in the 14th century, and ruled it for a time. Their family was called O'Neill Clannaboy. A Gallo-Glass set, the MacDonalds, became the most powerful in the Glens in the 15th century. During the Tudor era numerous adventurers from Britain attempted to colonise the region. Many Scots settled in Antrim around this time. In 1588 the Antrim coast was the scene of one of the 24 wrecks of the Spanish Armada in Ireland. The Spanish vessel La Llorona was wrecked off Laconia Point, Giant's Causeway in 1588 with the loss of nearly 1,300 lives. Antrim is divided into 16 baronies. Lower Antrim, part of Lower Clandeboy, was settled by the Set of Flyna line. Upper Antrim, part of Lower Clandeboy, was the home of the O'Keevans. Belfast was part of Lower Clandeboy and was held by the O'Neill Clannaboys. Lower Belfast, Upper Belfast, and Carrickfergus were also part of Lower Clandeboy. Carey was part of the Glens. Ruled originally by the Owen set, the MacDonald Gallaglasses from Scotland took power here in the late Middle Ages and some of the O'Haras also migrated from Connaught. Upper and Lower Dunluce were part of the Root, and were ruled by the MacCullens. Upper and Lower Glenam was ruled by the O'Flyna line set, considered part of the Glens. In addition to that set and that of Owen, both of which were native, the Scottish Gallo-Glass sets of MacCaown, McAllister, and McGee, are found there. Kilkenway was originally a Flyna line territory, but was held by the MacCullens as part of the Root, and later by the Gallo-Glass set of the MacNeil. Lower Masserine was part of Lower Clandeboy and was ruled by the O'Flynes and the O'Eaks. Upper Masserine was part of Lower Clandeboy, ruled by the O'Eaks. Upper and Lower Toome, part of the Root, were a Flyna line territory. Misk was first ruled by the MacCullens. Later, the Scottish Gallo-Glass MacDonalds and McAllisters invaded. The MacDonalds were a branch of the Scottish clan MacDonald. The McAllisters trace their origin back to the Irish Colloway, eldest of the three collars. Islandmagie had, besides antiquarian remains, a notoriety as a home of witchcraft, and during the Irish Rebellion of 1641 was the scene of an active reprisal against the Catholic population by the Scottish Covenanter soldiery of Carrickfergus. Historic monuments. The antiquities of the county consist of cairns, mounts or forts, remains of ecclesiastical and military structures, and round towers. There are 3 round towers, one at Antrim, one at Armoy, and one on Ram's Island in Lough Neagh, only that at Antrim being perfect. There are some remains of the ecclesiastic establishments at Bonamargie, where the Earls of Antrim are buried, Kells, Glenam, Glyn, Muckamore and Whittiarby. The castle at Carrickfergus, dating from the Norman invasion of Ireland, is one of the best preserved medieval structures in Ireland. There are, however, remains of other ancient castles, as Alderfleet, Cams, Shanes, Glenam, Garran Tower, Red Bay, and Dunluce Castle, notable for its dramatic location on a rocky outcrop. The principal cairns are, one on Colin Mountain, near Lisburn, one on Slieve True, near Carrickfergus, and 2 on Coilinwood. The cromlechs most worthy of notice are, one near Cairngraney, to the northeast of the old road from Belfast to Temple Patrick. The large cromlech at Mount Druid, near Ballintoy, and one at the northern extremity of Islandmagie. The mounts, forts and entrenchments are very numerous. The natural rock formations of Giant's Causeway on the Antrim coast are now designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. St Patrick, Slemish, about 8 miles east of Ballymena, is notable as being the scene of St Patrick's early life. According to tradition St Patrick was a slave for 7 years, near the hill of Slemish, until he escaped back to Great Britain. Linen manufacturing was previously an important industry in the county. At the time Ireland produced a large amount of flax. Cotton spinning by jennies was first introduced to Belfast by industrialists Robert Joy and Thomas McCabe in 1777. And 23 years later it was estimated that more than 27,000 people were employed in the industry within 10 miles of Belfast. Women were employed in the working of patterns on muslin. Notable residents: James Adair, born in County Antrim, explorer, trader, and historian; Charles Clinton Beattie, born in County Antrim, noted clergyman in the New Jersey area; John Bodkin Adams, general practitioner born in Randalltown and suspected of killing 163 patients while practicing in Eastbourne, England; William Arthur, born in Ballymena, noted antiquarian and Baptist clergyman in the United States; Joey Dunlop, OBE, from Ballymoney, 5-time world motorcycle champion; Sir John Jamieson, physician and naval surgeon from Carrickfergus who became an important pioneering landowner and constitutional reformer in New South Wales, Australia; George Macartney, 1st Earl Macartney, from Ballymoney, 1st British ambassador to China in 1772; Eva McGowan, chorister, pioneer, and hostess in Alaska; John O'Can Murray, born in Antrim, physician and noted author; James Nesbitt, from Bruffshane, notable actor; Liam Neeson, from Ballymena, notable actor; Tony McCoy, from Moneyglass, notable jockey; Hugh Boyle, from Dunloy, Catholic Bishop of Port Elizabeth, 1951 to 1954, Bishop of Johannesburg, 1954 to 1976. Flora and fauna. Records of the seaweeds of County Antrim were brought together and published in 1907 by J. Adams, who notes that the list contains 211 species. Batter's list, of 1902, contained 747 species in his catalogue of British marine algae. Of the freshwater algae there are 10 taxa in the Chirophyta recorded from Co. Antrim, Chera aspera deth xwild. Var aspera. Chera globularis thil var globularis. Chera globularis var virgata ad. Chera vulgaris L var. Vulgaris. Chera vulgaris var contraria J. A. Moore. Chera vulgaris var Lungebrach Tita J. Groves and Bullock Webster. Chera vulgaris var papillata Wallrxa Braun. Nitella flexilis ag var. Flexilis. Nitella translucens ca ag and Tolapella nidificolione. Var glormrata ad wood. Sport. See also, Abbeys and Priories in Northern Ireland, List of townlands in County Antrim, List of civil parishes of County Antrim, Lord Lieutenant of Antrim, High Sheriff of Antrim, References, Bonamagi Friary Guide Department of the Environment. North-South Ministerial Council, 2004 Annual Report in Ulster Scots, 2008 Annual Report in Ulster Scots Tourism Ireland. The Ulster Scot, June 2011 Charlie Thopucha Reynolds. 1. County Antrim, Mountain Views. Simon Stewart. Retrieved August 30, 2010. Port of Belfast, statistics from the National Gaelscoil Management Body, accessed at http www.gaelscoilianaioidtr%c3% adme%c3% a1n nargailgen%c3% 89 Irinzargal tact 09101 doc, January 2012, ABCDEF Statistical Classification of Settlements. NI Neighbourhood Information Service. Retrieved February 23, 2009. Waddell, John. The Prehistoric Archaeology of Ireland. Galway, Galway University Press Limited pp 11 €24, orally, Thomas F. Early Irish History and Mythology. Dublin, Dublin Institute for Advanced Studies. PA 7 orally, Thomas F. Early Irish History and Mythology. Dublin, Dublin Institute for Advanced Studies PPA 341 €352 Ben, George. A History of the Town of Belfast. Belfast, Marcus Ward and Company PPA 21 FFA. Encyclopædia Britannica, Antrim. La Girona. Annual Report of the Advisory Committee on Historic Wrecks, 2005. Advisory Committee on Historic Wreck Sites. PA 35. Retrieved November 1, 2008. ABCD Who Was Who in America, Historical Volume, 1607 Euro 1896. Chicago, Marquis Who's Who 1967 Cullen, Pamela V., A Stranger in Blood, The Case Files on Dr. John Bodkin Adams, London, Elliott and Thompson, 2006, ISBN 1-904027-19-9, Adams, J. 1907. The Seaweeds of the Antrim Coast. Scient. Pap. Ulster Fish. Bile. Ass. Volume 1, 29 Euro 37, Batters, EAL. 1902. A catalogue of the British marine algae being a list of all the species of seaweed known to occur on the shores of the British Islands, with the localities where they are found. J. Bott, Lon 40, plus 107. Hackney, P. ed. Stewart and Corrie's Flora of the Northeast of Ireland. 3rd edition Institute of Irish Studies in the Queen's University of Belfast. ISBN 0-85389-446-9. This article incorporates text from a publication now in the public domain, Chisholm, Hugh, ed. Encyclopædia Britannica. Cambridge University Press. External links, County Antrim at DMOZ, County Antrim in 1900, Castle FM Euro County Antrim radio station, The Northern Ireland Guide, for information and reviews for locals and tourists alike, Local Antrim Guide.